and we're gonna carry on with the conversation, even though if the video is not real or if it is, it really if it isn't real, right? It doesn't matter because it still should be taken if it's real. It really should be taken that way. Because that's something that happens every day, even when it's being covered by media, and even when it isn't being covered by media. And let me say this about this language right here, Arabic. I would say Amharic is more easier to read than Arabic because Arabic is more wider in its symbols. That's the only reason. So it's just by a drop. I would say that Amharic is easier to read, but it's like a baby version of Arabic. Um, but like yeah, and like people they like to do the melody with the language, and I don't really do that. I use audibles with English, but I don't use the symmetry of English. I use the audibles of English in order to explain this. Like, let me see. Let me look at something like wrong. I don't think this means wrong. You know what I mean? I don't think this means wrong. I think this means help. I actually think this means help. I also think this means goodbye. So if you know how to correlate help and goodbye, then you'll understand what that means. But when you look at goodbye and you look at help, that could just basically mean wrong to them in some sense, because wrong just means to pull or to get away from. That's all goodbye and help means, to get away from. So I understand this language very good. Because you got to remember, it's a Cushitic language. So when you think of Cushitic, you think of the eastern part of Africa, and you think of the middle part of Africa where everybody is breaking away from Congo. So this language, this is the birth of many languages, including English. This is the birth of many languages, including English. So and even when I look at Allah, right, I just think Allah means theirs. Even more so than just God. I think it just means theirs. I don't really think it just means God or all of law. I think it just means theirs. Um, so I think like when you pronounce words, you got to use pronouns before you use idolatry. Like Allah and God, that would be idolatry. Theirs would just be like a simple pro or a simple noun. It describes everything. So that's the approach I would take. So the reason I pulled this up again was because of that video of the girl running in the encampment, and and also because of Jeremiah 1:5. It's like, why are you brutally massacring women and torturing them for your own lustful deeds when Allah knew you before he formed you? You see what I mean? So this means that you're intentionally doing something while at the same time doing it without just or the need to do it or the understanding of doing. You're doing it on your own token. You see what I mean? So it's like I don't really know how wars start, man. I've never been in some of these parts of America or Africa where the people um sort of gather in that sense. Like I've never been anywhere near uh those parts of Chicago or even other parts. Like even when I lived in like Minnesota, like I would never go around certain groups of people who would carry certain animosity among other groups. Like even if I was a neutral party, I would never go around them. And I think that's why a lot of people they live longer because they don't do things that will put them in certain situations that will garner a certain um, well, you know what I mean. So I'm not gonna go any more into that. But I wouldn't do that. So when I look at these wars, man, The only thing that I can say is, you know, when the media gets involved and they start saying things, you have to make sure that you understand that they are coming from this respect. If they're just reporting on, oh, Muslims are bad people, and they are not speaking in this language, they're not putting this on a screen and reading it, then you don't believe them. You just have to know that they're giving you yellow journalism. And if they're just reading in this language, then you know it's terrible. So, great peace, Yakoki.